Hello everyone, it is Justice, and today we are going to be cleaning out and inking up a new set of pens. What I typically like to do is to have a set of pens and use them throughout the week. Typically, I can go through like a set of five or so. No, let's be honest. I can do like 3 or 4 pens in a week, five if I'm being really ambitious. And so I'll have like a new set with some different colors to have fun with every single week. But what I've been currently using has been with me for a few weeks now, probably closer to a month in all honesty, because I just have not been in a writing mood. But I'm finally through most of the ink. There's still a little bit left, as you can see from the messes that I'm making, but I am ready for some change. Um, I went ahead and moved into a new insert because I've lost my other insert at the grocery store, I think. So whatever, timing works out to where I get to have a new notebook, and now I'm also going to be having a new freshly inked set of pens. In the cleaning process, I will say it takes me a very long time to actually clean the pens, and by a very long time, I know that's subjective to everyone. For me, it's probably going to be at least 30 minutes just because I am redonkulously slow at doing everything. As you can probably tell, my hand coordination isn't all the way there. But it takes me about 30 minutes to thoroughly clean out the pens. This is just with regular tap water. I don't do the distilled water cleaning. I know that it's probably substantially better for the pens just because there's not random particulates that can sit, potentially mold, etc. But I use my pens so often, I don't have a large collection where I'm worried about that. A pen can sit for probably 2, maybe 3 months at most before it's inked up and used again, and I haven't really encountered any problems with that. So I'm just using regular sink water. If for any reason there is a pen where I have let the ink sit in it for too long, that's whenever I'll use my Goulet pen flush, which you can also purchase at gouletpens.com. I am not using any of that in this video because I haven't had any wild crusties or anything. Now you'll notice that I'm cleaning out my sink. I'm not done cleaning the pens, but I have to give my sink a wipe down because the countertops that I have are natural stone, and if I let the blue sit on there, it will be an absolute pain to remove. So one thing to keep in mind whenever you are cleaning pens, or if you haven't quite gotten there yet, if you get the ink everywhere, please wipe it down while you still can. Otherwise, you're just going to have to accept that your world will become just a little bit more rainbowy. Or if you're like me and most of the inks that you use are like blue, purple, gray, just generally cool toned, then it's just going to be a little bit more blue. And whether that's your style or not, just know that that is in your future. Also, your hands. Your hands will be stained. You can already see I've got some stains forming from this little session here, and it's just how we're going to do things. I will say I haven't had fountain pen ink stain my nails. I'm very surprised about that. With cleaning out pens being like an actual chore and it not being very enticing to me, I kind of have to bribe myself as if I'm an iPad kid. So while I am cleaning out my pens and doing it very leisurely, I'm watching a new cartoon that I started, and by new, I mean new to me, not new to the market, because it's been out for a long time now and I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't. It's Star versus the Forces of Evil. It was a like teen Disney or Disney XD or something along those lines where it's like the alternate Disney. It was on those Cartoon Networks. It's so cute. I am really loving seeing the different types of animation coming out now that I'm older and more of my peers are getting into the animation industry because I'm noticing a lot more emotional maturity being incorporated into these storylines and difficult subjects that we dealt with being put into the storylines. And so while I know that the actual demographic for these shows are younger kids, I still get so much joy out of them, and whether it's healing my inner child or being happy for the next generation and seeing the lessons that they're getting to grow up with and hoping that as they encounter them in real life, they'll be more prepared for them. It warms my heart so much. Within this, there's a lot of like hints at potentially abusive relationships. There's parent dynamics where you feel like you're not really being seen. There's, of course, the best friend dynamic, which we've seen repeated over and over again, and also just being very supportive of those around you but still calling them out whenever they're not being good. Those are some big themes that I've seen so far from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and they've really stuck out to me. I'm going to stop talking about cartoons though because I know that that's not really the thing that people are talking about here. It's just something that I quite enjoy. Back to pen things. Something that I think a lot about, which could potentially be me overthinking, but I feel like it's not that uncommon to hear about things like this. Whenever I am inking up my pens, I always go through some type of inner turmoil in picking out which pens and which colored inks that I want to use, because theoretically, at least in my head, I want to be using a variety of nib sizes, a variety of inks, because that's how you can get the most like bang for your buck in terms of the amount of time and the amount of options that you have. However, I'm absolutely a fuddy-duddy and I get into certain moods. Like right now, I'm in a kind of fine, but more like medium fine to medium nib right style. Sometimes I'm in just a fine right style, but I am just really attracted to these particular nibs right now. And also, I am very attracted to blue ink. For blue not being one of my favorite colors in real life, it is absolutely my go to when writing. And I've also gotten a love for purple ink. Purple used to be one of the inks that I would use just to use up, but I didn't really particularly enjoy it because it wasn't beautiful or vibrant to the eye. But I'm starting to get an appreciation for it. So it's very rare for me to be using a color outside of these very deep jewel tones. And essentially where I'm trying to go with this is everything's right around the same thickness, everything's right around the same kind of shade if you squint your eyes, which a little bit of me feels like a failure for being like, oh great, I chose some pens and inks and the variety is nil. Amazing, I'm probably gonna get bored of this. But I also know that I'm most likely not going to get bored of it because these are the things that I like. And so I guess I'm worried about change and change in thought processes, which that's a very normal thing to encounter in life. But whenever you're used to preferring one thing and you start preferring other things, I feel like I go through a mini, oh my gosh, who am I phase. But that's very normal. You're going to fluctuate, have different preferences, etc. My cat just jumped up on my lap in case you heard like a giant creak. Anyways, you're going to have preferences change, tastes change, anything like that over the years. So it's best to just go with it. And something that I try to do on a day to day basis, one for mental health, but then two to try and just be less stressed by things that are stupid and not stressful, is to just go day by day and just try to accept what is happening. Don't think too much about it, just trudge forward, and whatever happens, cool, move forward. No point in thinking behind it, no point in thinking before it. If you're constantly living within the past, you're never going to be happy. If you're doomed with the what ifs of the future, you're also never going to be happy. And so maybe that's just a little bit philosophical and a little bit pretentious to be talking about in a video where I'm literally just putting ink in some pens so that I can journal with them throughout the week. But it's something that I've been having to repeat to myself in order to just stay okay, and that living in the present is a good thing, and don't overthink it. There's something that my middle school basketball coach used to tell me, which it's very crude, and I have no idea if it would fly in schools these days, but it was the KISS method. The KISS method, KISS, it stood for keep it simple, stupid. And I have to tell myself that a little bit too often. Don't worry, I'm not like getting into negative self-talk or anything, but just keeping it simple. That's all you need to do. There's no need to overthink, make things overly complicated. It's literally just ink in a pen that you use as an apparatus to write with. Put some stuff in it, use it, and then you'll be golden, pony boy. Here we can see the inks that I used, and I just want to thank you for sitting here and doing this chore with me. Tell me what is in your inked up pens this week, and please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever you would like to do in supporting me. I'm hoping to be doing this much more often for you guys. Anyways, thank you.